Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, I wanted to talk about the whole Giannis situation in Milwaukee because it's very rare that we get Giannis drama. I've got a lot of thoughts actually on this, because the fact of the matter is Giannis came out and made a statement basically saying that if he can't get basically on the same page with the front office about winning an NBA championship and like basically an NBA title commitment, he's not signing another extension with them. And I look at this roster, it's like Drew Holiday is 33, Chris Middleton is 32, Bobby Portis is still relatively young at 26. Brook Lopez, I think, is the oldest guy, one of the older guys on their roster. I think he's like 35. And really, the problem with this team stems from, like, their playoff success, I guess you could say. Which feels really weird to say, considering, like, they just won a championship not long ago. But it's just the idea. They play a lot of whoever offense in the playoffs. Their half court offense is really not good. Their half court offense is like give the ball to Giannis and get the fuck out of the way. Whether it's Brook Lopez screening for Giannis or Giannis screening for a guy like Drew Holiday or Middleton or somebody like that. It's like that's kind of where the train stops, and there usually isn't a whole lot of off-ball movement and stuff like that. And I really hope their new head coach, I think it's Adrian Griffin, can come in and make some changes and maybe make this half-court offense better, because that's where their team really struggles. Yeah, they have Adrian Griffin as a head coach now. But, like, this is a team that, like, once they got into the playoffs, Jimmy Butler went fucking maniacal against them. And Giannis didn't play 2 of the games and only played part of another game. So it's not like they really had Giannis at full health either. Now, granted, there are things that Giannis could be better at. Giannis could be a better free throw shooter. He could be a better three-point shooter. He could be a better mid-range shooter. Just shooting across the board, Giannis could be better at. So that's a thing that's a thing for Giannis to improve on. But I look at this roster and there's not even really much they can trade for. I understand why they brought back Chris Middleton. I understand why they brought back Brook Lopez. Drew Holiday is one of the better defenders in the NBA at the guard position. The problem with Drew Holiday is just a very, very inconsistent playoff player. The guy is very, very good at defending. Like he's a guy that I would say like pretty much every team would love to have at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a guy every team would love to have on their roster. But when it comes to the playoffs, man, like he doesn't show up more often than not. So that's an issue as well. And like this team, like I don't really know what it is exactly that they need. I think they really need another guy that can kind of just do it all, whether that's a wing or a guard or something. I don't really know what they can do. They're kind of in salary cap space hell at the moment. Like they're not a team that can actually just go out and make a trade. Maybe they could package a couple guys for somebody, but even packaging guys for somebody, it's like they don't even have draft assets really to trade until 2028. And even then, like, when you get into 2028, 2029, and 2030, do you really want to be trading those picks that late down the road when, Giannis is already in his 30s, if I'm correct? Giannis is, let's see. Giannis is, 28 years old, which, 5 years down the road. Okay, so he'll be like 34. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you could maybe get away with trading the 2028, but the 2029 and the 2030, those are picks that I just think you're risking a lot touching those picks, especially when, because of the Drew Holiday trade, the picks that you do have for like 2024 and 2026 you don't even own. The Pelicans own them, so it's just like, you're in a tight spot. And part of me really wonders what Giannis means by this as far as a championship commitment, because he's been saying this shit for years. It's not really anything new. I don't necessarily think that's concerning. But the problem that's most concerning with me with Giannis is the idea that he just had knee surgery this offseason. And everybody, they were saying it's minor knee surgery. there's no such thing as minor knee surgery. Like, I hate to say that. Like, I know I'm not a doctor, I'm not an MD by any means, but there's no such thing as minor knee surgery, okay? Which is a main reason why, like, if you're playing fantasy basketball this year, you might want to be cautious on taking Giannis this year because we don't know how this knee is going to hold up. But I just think to myself, like, they've got guys on there, like Marjan Beauchamp or whatever the fuck his name, it just went maniacal in a fucking Drew League game or, a Summer League game or something like that. He scored like 80 fucking points. So, like, maybe he can be a guy that steps up for them. But I just look at this roster and I'm like, there's really not a whole hell of a lot they can do to try and make it better. Obviously last season they kind of got curb stomped. This past season, like, they got curb stomped by the Miami Heat. But then again, like I said, Giannis wasn't really there. But the problem is, like, if you watched that series, you could tell, like, teams are starting to figure the Bucks out. And I think that's the problem with Giannis. I think that's the problem that Giannis is addressing, is the idea that, like, most teams know that if you triple team Giannis and when he attacks the paint, like, you can get away with beating them. The Toronto Raptors did that in 2019 against him, where it was when Kawhi was there and they actually won a ring. All they did was collapse, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, and Kawhi Leonard on him every time he went to the basket, and it was like they forced Milwaukee to make someone else beat them, and it was enough for Toronto to beat Milwaukee and win themselves an NBA championship. So it's just the idea, like, Milwaukee's a team that really needs to do more. There's a lot of issues with this roster. I still think their championship window is open. I will say that. Like, they're a team that I think they got another 2 or 3 years before they really need to start to, like, panic. But it's just the idea, like, I understand Giannis wants to win more, but that front office is not really in any type of situation to just go out and make a trade or go out and sign a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really in that position. But if you're the Bucks, it is Giannis, and Giannis is a generational talent. You got to figure something out. Now, if they could get younger and maybe find some way to get somebody with a little more, like Tyler Hero would be a nice pickup for them. I'm just going to say that. Like, he's a guy who's honestly, career-wise, has had a better playoff record than a lot of players in the NBA. Just a guy, like, performance-wise, like, Tyler Hero has been amazing. And I know Miami wants to trade Tyler Hero for Damian Lillard, but, if you're the Bucks, maybe maybe you can entice the Miami Heat to send you Tyler Hero for maybe not Drew Holiday or I don't know, maybe Drew Holiday if he gets another 2 years from now when he's 35 and maybe he's lost a step. Or Chris Middleton another 2 years from now when he's maybe lost a step. Like, we know Tyler Hero's a guy that's looking to get moved. Or at least Miami's looking to move him for if it means landing Damian Lillard. But just the idea, like, you got Zach LaVine out there, you got DeMar DeRozan. If you ask me, Chicago's probably looking to rebuild eventually at some point anyway. I don't know how much that actually makes them better, but, it's just the idea, like, there's options out there. It's just the idea of, like, can they pull it off? And DeMar DeRozan's not exactly young anymore either. Like, DeMar DeRozan's still a great player, but he's not, early 20s. And not for nothing, but most teams with, like, talent like that are usually not going to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, if you're the Bucks, you can't approach the Indiana Pacers about Tyrese Halliburton and expect them to give him to you for, like, not an arm and a leg. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know what's going to happen with the situation in Milwaukee. I think Giannis is going to be fine. I think Giannis is going to stay there, if you want my honest opinion on it. I think he's going to retire a Milwaukee Buck. But this is Giannis putting pressure on the front office. Like, hey, we kind of got embarrassed this past year. I would like to not have that happen again. And this kind of, in a way, speaks to how competitive Giannis is, because he understands, like, his team got fucking curb stomped this past season in the playoffs by Miami. What are the odds of that actually happening again? I would assume the odds are fucking insane, because, like, it's very rare that a team that's a play-in team makes the NBA Finals. I would argue that's something you're probably not going to see again for a very long time. But they had the balls fall in their favor with injuries to certain players and stuff like that. So, it happens, but it's just the idea, man. Like, if Milwaukee really wants to change this around and I guess make Giannis happy, they have to have a good regular season. They're gonna have to, maybe try to add some younger, experienced pieces around Giannis. I don't know really what that looks like at the moment. But they don't have a lot of options. I'm just going to call it that. So, Giannis can put this out there to maybe light a fire under the front office, and I think that was the purpose of it, just to be like, hey, I still want to win championships, okay? Like, I understand, like, this roster worked, but clearly, I think this is Giannis saying we need more. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, what we have is great, but we need something a little more. Whether that's a Jordan Clarkson or something like that. I don't know what that, because there was rumors a while ago last season that Milwaukee was going after Jordan Clarkson. So I really don't know what that looks like. But it's just the idea, like, Milwaukee. I think this is Giannis sending a message to the front office, like, hey, Phoenix got better, Dallas got better, the Lakers got better, and we didn't do shit. Boston, arguably, I would say got worse. Like, I'm just going to call that. Like, I'm going to say, like, they got worse only because they got rid of Marcus Smart and they brought in Kristaps Porzingis, and they're relying on Malcolm Brogdon, who are two very injury-prone players, I might add. Like, Porzingis isn't even playing right now because of a foot injury, so, like, in FIBA. So it's like, I understand where Giannis is coming from in a way. It's like all these teams in the West got better. Dallas, the Lakers, Phoenix added more firepower, and it's like we're just kind of over here fucking around. Like, yeah, we're just going to keep bringing back the same guys and hope we can continue to run it back and it works. So I think that's what Giannis really has a problem with, is the idea that they didn't really bring any fresh new blood in. You know what I'm saying? And I think Giannis wants the Bucks to be constantly making moves to try to improve, and I think that's what he means by being on the same page to win a championship. Or maybe, I don't know how true this is just an assumption, but maybe there's a guy out there that a team is looking to shop, like Pascal Siakam, Damian Lillard, a Zach LaVine, a DeMar DeRozan, or something like that, and maybe Giannis wants to play with that player, and Giannis is pressing the front office to try and trade for that player. That's the only other thing I can think of as to why he would make comments like this. I don't know how true that is, but with all the speculation going on in the NBA right now about guys getting traded, guys who want to go places, for me, it's kind of like, okay, maybe that's what Giannis is talking about. But, it's not every day Damian Lillard's out there. It's not every day that Pascal Siakam's out there. Even Zion, you know what I'm saying? Even there's rumors Zion is, I'm not saying that the Pelicans are shopping him, but they're not exactly declining phone calls on him either. So I don't know, man. I don't really know what all this is totally about, but I understand where it's coming from. But if you were to ask me, I think the Bucks will be fine. I think the Bucks are going to be another playoff team this year. Hopefully Giannis isn't injured for basically 3 of the games against the Miami Heat, even though Miami did have kind of a miraculous once-in-a-lifetime run. I think that Giannis just didn't like what happened last season and really wants to improve, and I can't blame him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy wants to win. He's a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer, and he wants to continue. He wants to continue to compete, and right now, I guess he doesn't think that, like, his roster can do that. So, I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm the Fast Break Report, and out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.